is there any chance I can get on the street team, man? I would love to keep working here. I love working here. I love the people here. I said, everything just seems really, really cool here. I would love to stick around.
Hmm.
And he tells me, you wouldn't make it on the street team. And I said, well, why not? I mean, you're essentially just going to like bars, passing out bumper stickers, saying hey to everybody, passing out T-shirts, doing goofy little games, helping out on-air talent with appearances and whatnot, set up, breakdown. I was like, I can do grunt work. I can pass out T-shirts, no problem. And he's like, let me put it to you this way. And when somebody says, let me put it to you this way, it's like, okay, here it comes.
Basically punch you in the nuts.
Yeah, it's basically like, get ready to have your feelings kicked in. He's like, picture yourself at a bar. I'm like, all right. He goes, picture, there's two people walking towards you. One of them is a beautiful girl carrying a T-shirt, and she's walking towards you. And the other one looks like you, carrying a T-shirt, walking towards you. He's like, who are you going to talk to? I was like, the fucking chick. He goes, exactly. I'm like, oh, that's great. So, okay, wonderful.
I'm 2 for 2 on the creepy.
Yeah, so I'm like, great. Where's the official ZLX suicide gun? I can use it right now.
You fucking bastards.
Yeah, I'm just like, all right, whatever, man.
That's crazy, man.
So, fast forward to about 2 weeks later, I wasn't able to go in for an entire week because my work hours had me going in at like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm just like, well, I got this internship as well. I got to do this as well. And, the thing with the internship was we always told our interns, like, look, if your job conflicts with this, go to your job because you get paid to do that. Here you're doing shit for free, you're learning whatever, it's great. But I mean, if you have the chance to make money, make the fucking money first.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, so I was like, all right, I'm not going to be in this next week. So they call me up on, I think it was a Friday or something like that. And, it was Braden, Kevin, and Pete, from what I had heard. And, like they were, Kevin and Pete didn't make themselves known until later on in the phone call, but Braden calls up, he's like, hey, I just wanted to let you know, like, you've been here since February, it's now August, we have to end your internship. And I said, that's totally fine. I understand, but I wasn't there the last week. I wanted to see if it was okay if I could just come in this next week just to make up for last week, say goodbye to everybody, because I don't want to leave without saying goodbye. And he's like, well, unfortunately, management's not going to let us do that. They're saying, you gotta go. And I'm like, oh god, I'm getting ready to fucking like just fucking like curl up. I'm just like, fuck, I can't even say goodbye to these guys or say thank you or fucking anything. And that's to me that's like a bad way to fucking end something, by at least not saying goodbye or thank you or
Yeah.
something along those lines. So I'm just like, oh fuck, are you serious, man? And he
Yeah.
goes, oh, we got you, he's fucking crying, And I'm like, I hear Kevin and Pete in the background, and there's another guy who was Mike Thomas, the program director.
Hmm.
And they're all laughing their asses off, like, ha, 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 we got you, you fucker, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, got me on what, dude? Like, seriously, what the fuck what are you doing? And they're like, well, we wanted to offer you a job here. We want you to be the new call screener. I was like,
Nice.
yeah, now you guys are fucking around, great. And they're like, no, we're serious. We want you to come in, screen the phone calls for the guys. We'll pay you, a little bit, and you get to keep working with us. I'm like, that's
Says the
fuck. I'm like,
allegedly
that's
pulled a trick on me.
yeah. I'm just like, that's fucking great. Um, so they said, all right, well, you got to call Mike in his office and just schedule an appointment to go and at least meet with him, sign some paperwork and whatever have you. So I'm like, all right, so I call him up. He's not there. I leave a message. I call back maybe like 2 hours later, and I finally talk to him, and he's like, all right, just come on in Monday morning. He's like, if you want, just come on in Monday morning. He's like, don't come in for the morning show because obviously if you come in for the morning show and work, obviously you're not on payroll yet. So we can't pay you retroactively. Just come on in and sign the paperwork, and we'll get you on the paperwork, and you can start Tuesday.
Hmm.
I was like, all right, fair enough. So I go there, sign the paperwork and whatnot, and I officially become their call screener. So things are going good for a little bit. For a few months, I'm making like $10 an hour doing the job.
You're probably pretty entertaining with the kind of people that call in.
Yeah. You don't know the half of it.
Sure, I don't.
Yeah. I remember some of the callers, man. Like one of them was some lady. She would call up and she would just be like, "Hi, ZLX. Barack Obama under my thumb." Click. I'm like, "What the fuck was that?"
And then you just hang up.
Yeah, she would just hang
That
up.
was it. Barack Obama under my thumb.
Barack Obama under my thumb, or I think one time she said she was like, "Hi, ZLX. Does Keith Richards use salt on omelets?" And I'm like, "Wouldn't everybody?" She's like, "Click." Um, there was another guy they called Retard Bill.
Who called you that?
No, the morning show called him that.
Like the entire morning show?
Yeah, like they all knew him as Retard Bill because like he would call and they didn't know if he was like mentally off or if he was just constantly fucking drunk or whatever. But he was always calling. He's like, "Oh, my wife Sarah there," and I'm like, "This guy's asking for fucking Sarah. Like, there's no Sarah here." "Don't play stupid with me. My wife is there. I'm gonna fuck her in the ass." I'm like, this guy's adorable.
You're like, I want to hang with this.
Yeah, like, not really. I don't want to hang with this guy, but Jesus Christ, he sounds fucking creepy as shit. But I'm at least entertained by his phone calls here. So we couldn't have him on the air. We go, "Oh, you can't make fun of people like that." And I'm just like, whatever. um, so fast forward to probably about 3 years later. Not even that. Actually, like, yeah, fast forward to about maybe a year later. I'm just like, I'm talking to Brain. I'm like, "Look, there's got to be more that I could do for this show other than just answering fucking phone calls." And he goes, "All right, you want to try and book some guests for the guys? Just come up with a list of guests and try and get them on." And the first guest I booked, I completely fucking struck out on. It was an author who wrote a book rewriting the history of the Beatles as if they were fucking zombies and Ringo was a fucking ninja.
What?
Yeah.
Why did you book that person? You did book that person?
I did book that person. I asked him, I said, this press release about this guy writing this book about the Beatles, and might be funny if we get this guy Chachi on too to talk with him, because Chachi does this show every Sunday mornings, like Breakfast with the Beatles. Dude's got a fucking hard on for the Beatles, and don't get me wrong, I like the fucking Beatles, but I do not have a fucking hard on for them. I'm just like, they're great, I like them, but that's it.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. I can respect them and all, but
yeah, I respect them and whatnot. Ringo's not a great drummer. Lennon's an incredible songwriter, but he's an awful fucking father. Paul McCartney, he's Paul fucking McCartney. He can do whatever he wants. And then George Harrison was one of the most underrated guitar players of all time.
Yeah.
So I struck out with that guest, and then like I started fucking rolling with guests. Like I was booking Vince Neil. I got him on for an interview, and the program director came in after the interview was over, and he goes, "Guys, that was such a great interview. I want you to replay it tomorrow morning." And the guys are looking at me like, "Can you cut it up for tomorrow morning?" I was like, "Well, yeah, but I mean, when he says he's in Boston to do a book signing, and he's not fucking there that day, that's gonna make us kind of look fucking silly, doesn't it?" They're like, "Yeah, don't worry about it."
Don't worry about it.
They're like, "Yeah, don't worry about it." I'm like, "All right, you guys are paying the fucking bills around here."
Jesus, that's crazy.
It is crazy. Some of the other guests like I would book for them were I busted my ass for fucking like 9 months to try and get Betty White on, and I eventually got her on.
Nice.
Like booked her for an interview. They replayed that one as well.
I can't believe that it's 9 months to get Betty White.
I had to jump through so many fucking hoops with her literary agent and whatnot, with the book publishing company and whatnot. Some of the other ones, like I booked, I got Derek Sanderson to come in.
Nice.
And like they weren't too sure. They were like, "All right, we'll give this guy 5 minutes or so, and let him plug the book, tell some stories and whatnot." We had him in. The phones were fucking like flying off the fucking hook because people were like, well, I heard this great story about Derek. Can I talk to him about it? I'm like, yeah, absolutely, man. So I put everybody through and whatnot. And he was, instead of him being on the air for 5 minutes, he was on for the entire fucking hour.
Oh
Like
man,
essentially telling stories. Like, a listener would call and say, "Hey, Derek, I heard this story about you where you did this, this, and this. Is that true?" He's like, "Oh yeah, that happened." And he would go into the story and just be like, "This is what happened."
that's awesome.
Yeah, he was a great guest. He was always cool when he came in. Man, fucking everybody loved him. Busted
But
my
you got him on first.
yeah. We got him on first. So
I mean, like you got
yes,
him
I
on.
was the one who booked him.
That's awesome.
Uh, like another guy that I booked in was Bobby Orr.
Nice.
Who's probably
And you
my
were the first
last
one to
like
get him too?
yeah, that took about fucking 8-9 months to get him in studio as well. Uh,
Betty White and Bobby Orr, man.
yeah, and like Bobby Orr was gonna be there for like the entire hour. He was running like 20 minutes late, so he finally gets into the studio at like 8:20 or something like that, and then they just go right to 9 o'clock with him. Like no commercials, no music break, no nothing. They're just like, let's fucking keep going with this guy.
That's awesome. I'm sure the phones were off the fucking hook for him.
Oh yeah, like one lady was like, "Oh, I wanted to know if I could talk to Bobby Orr about signing my son's skates or something like that." And I'm just like, "Well, he's got this book out. There's probably advice there for him, but um, I don't know if he'll sign the skates, but I guess why not?" And a lot of people that came in, they were really really fucking cool.
Hmm.
Um, but there was just something in the air, like something was fucking off. Probably like my third year there, I was just like, you know what, man, something is a little bit fucking off.
Like more than just the usual fart aroma.
Yeah, more than that. Like, the insults that were coming at me, like it was just like, oh yeah, he's the creepy phone screener, you creep, you fucking virgin living in your mom's basement, nerd virgin piece of shit.
Really? They would say that kind of shit?
Oh yeah,
Jesus, man.
oh yeah, yeah. Like that was like their big insult was like, he's a nerd, he lives in his mom's basement, and like whenever they brought that up, I was like, that's because you guys don't fucking pay me enough. I can't fucking move out. I said, not
Seriously.
only that, I'm driving a fucking hour and a half to get up here. And keep in mind, like when I was there for about 5 years, I went through about 4 cars in that time, like 4 or 5 cars in that time.
That's insane.
It is insane. It was beyond fucking insane.
And then to bust your balls basically, and then get hurled, all these insults and shit. It's like, what am I doing all this shit for?
Yeah, it's like, why am I even bothering anymore?
Right. At what point do you just give up and be like, well, fuck it?
Yeah,
Screw up.
so at one point I'd asked the program director. I said, when I was originally brought on, it was for the hours of 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. just to answer phone calls. I said I've been doing a lot more work. I'm editing ads for these guys. I'm booking guests for them. I'm helping them edit bits out. I
You
did.
helped them the podcast that they did.
Yeah, I would help them edit podcasts and whatnot. I would help train the interns. If the interns had a problem, they would come to me as well as Braden. I said, I'm doing all this extra work. Would it be possible to get a raise? This is after like maybe 2.5, maybe 3 years in. I'm asking the
Hmm.
program director, and he says no. So I'm like, all right, you know. And at that time, the rumor that I had heard was ZLX pulled in approximately about $20 million for CBS or something like that. That I don't know if that's true or not, but that's all alleged.
Wait, what do you mean for like the
Like they
the
pulled in
Wallet
like
station?
20, like they pulled in $20 million as a station as far as like ad revenue and shit like that.
Okay.
So and now here's it kind of goes south, a little bit more. There would be some things like the Kevin and Pete took me to see Don Rickles perform at Mohegan Sun. They're like, oh, let's go gambling, let's go grab something to eat, hanging out, and they said, hey, we know you bust your ass around here for us, and they put about $100 in cash in my hand, and they said, this is for you. We know you bust your ass for us. We just wanted to essentially do this to say thank you.
Hmm.
So I'm like, this is fucking generous, But I said, guys, like this is great, but you know, you gotta watch this shit. Like, cut it with the fucking virgin shit, because it's like, if I meet somebody and they hear this shit on the air, they're gonna be like, who the fuck am I going out with?
Seriously.
Like my dating stock would plummet if they heard this shit.